The DJ accepts no responsibility for the next record.
Say what? Oh no, he said. Where's the money, man? Where's my money?
It's time to man up, America.
Let's do this.
All right. Talk 101.3 The Buzz, WTNB Television. I guess we could go live, right? I could actually put our camera shot up so people could see that we're actually in the studio today. You know what? We're trying to adjust the mics. You guys have been really great with feedback, and ever since we lost producer Adrian, we've kind of been in this dance of, how do we get the audio tuned in right? How do the new cameras working right? How do we get the lighting right? We're still working on the studio. A lot of you guys don't get to see this. I probably should flip it around. The studio is still kind of under repair here at the Venue Creekside. And it's been kind of this evolving process. But like many things in my life, Bruce, I got it to where it was functional and then stopped, right? So we have to focus on getting the studio finished up. We do
How many half-finished projects are there in every man's basement?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's like, all right, we've got the walls up and the heat stays.
We got it to where it'll work. We're good. I'll finish it later. And then another project comes along. There's a goat shed that's half built in my backyard.
A goat shed?
Yeah.
What do you have goats?
My wife wants goats.
Why does she want goats?
That is an excellent question.
Are you not able to entertain your family if they need to bring in goats?
She's got chickens, and now she wants goats. And I'm not opposed to the goats.
Listen, I'm with you. Okay, so I'm a chicken guy. I liked having my chickens, right? I would eventually like to have some goats in the family.
And she won the argument with, well, if we get the goats, they can clear the back 40.
That's right.
And so I'm on board with that.
You have 40 acres in the back?
No, we call it the back 40. It's like 2.5. It's not. It's not even remotely 40. We just call it the back 40 because it's in the back. And
shout out to God's Chicken today. I am partaking in your unsweet tea.
God's Chicken. I'm gonna get that for lunch.
I woke up this morning and the Lord spoke and said, "Adam, go ye therefore and retrieve a chicken biscuit."
Yeah.
I don't frequent. Okay, so I'm the one person in this town that does not frequent the Chick-fil-A. And it's not because I don't like the Chick-fil-A. It really has more to do with the fact that it's really, really busy all the time.
All the time.
And it's not my favorite chicken. I'm more of a Zaxby's guy.
Oh, Sam, I like Bojangles.
Really? See, now I wish we had a Popeyes.
I think I'd still go Bojangles. And I frequently drive by Chick-fil-A with the intention of getting a sandwich or something, but I see the line wrapped around the building, and I think, nope.
You're like, I'm not going for it.
Yeah, not going for it. And then I just go on and usually cook something at home.
Move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got a lot to talk about today. Ultimately, at the end of the day, it is the first episode of Man Up America after the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. And here's the Super Bowl controversy. It's not that the Patriots won. It's not really that they set a historically low score for the Super Bowl. Yeah. The real story, to me, has been this. It's all of you people who want to go on the socials. You know who you are. And you want to espouse just how much better of a sports fan and aficionado you are than the rest of America, whom the majority said this Super Bowl sucked. This was just not a good Super Bowl. And for all of you who are out there going, listen, Bill Belichick's brilliant. This was a defensive showdown. It was an offensive error showdown. When a Super Bowl quarterback for the Rams is throwing so much for less than 6 yards a catch, which is 2 yards less than the league average. That includes all the crappy teams, right? This wasn't a display of athletic expertise. These weren't the best two teams playing their best two games on a field, which is what we expect of the Super Bowl. The team that won was the team that did the least worst. Right? That does not make for a good football game. I don't care how you guys try to spin it in sports land. Now, Purvis, you'll go on the Sports Drive later today. I want your 2 cents. Do you agree with me on this or not? Tune into the Sports Drive on Talk 101.3 The Buzz with Dennis Purvis, usually 5 to something. And Dennis, do you agree with my assessment of that? I've had so many people try to say this is like old school football when it was a bunch of defensive. No, it wasn't. There were balls thrown into the ground behind the receiver. Receivers dropping balls. I mean, Tom Brady wasn't his best on Super Bowl Sunday. Bill Belichick wasn't coaching his best. Sean McVay had the worst game, I think, of his career. And how in the world do you go to a Super Bowl contest where half of us tune in to watch Todd Gurley, the best running back in the NFL, run the ball, and he doesn't touch the ball the whole time? How is that a good game, Bruce? You're the football expert. That was made very clear on Thursday.
That's what we established last week.
Your predictions were more accurate than anyone else's on Facebook. So all of you who made your predictions, guess who won? Bruce won.
I looked into
the guy who doesn't watch football.
I looked into the future and saw. No, I actually enjoyed the game. The low-scoring games, to me, those are more fun to watch because then there's more action stopping it from going forward. I enjoyed that. It was exciting that last quarter as well. I didn't really have a horse in that particular race. I wasn't really pulling for either one of the teams, but.
No one did. You live in the South, right? If you're not a Falcons or Titans fan, you're a Legacy fan. You're either Cowboys or Steelers.
No, I'm a Bears fan.
Which camera are we on? I don't even know.
Here, I think we're on that one over there.
So I just, for all of you who want to apologize for this Super Bowl, you're idiots. You're idiots.
Now, that's a blanket statement.
And I love you so, so much. And he's like, dang, Adam never calls anyone an idiot when it comes to politics. It gets to football, and he's throwing it out there. That's
Very
because
passionate.
It doesn't matter. It's one of those loose things. Alderman did this.
Politics, that doesn't matter. Football, that's where it's at.
Alderman did this thing for a while on his Facebook page where he was like, he made these declarative statements. And he would say, and it isn't even close, right? That became kind of the tagline. Yeah, and the whole reason he did that was to say something that created debate, but it was soft debate, right? Yeah. It wasn't anything that you were going to lose a relationship over. So he'd be like...
Until it happened.
Did he lose a relationship? He didn't lose a relationship.
I don't know. No, he didn't lose. It's something you don't expect to happen.
No, it didn't happen for him. But he did go to he would say... Kevin Hart is funnier than Eddie Murphy, and it isn't even close. Now, I don't think he said that, but that's an example. And then people would argue, but it was soft enough no one would lose a relationship on social media. I feel that way about the Super Bowl. You can think that it's one of the greatest defensive. I'm telling you, the numbers don't match up with that. The offensive errors were out the roof. It was played like two decent teams vying for a wild card.
I was going to say
in the middle of the season.
Cummings says it's a lackluster Pee Wee football game.
It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And some people are like, "You're just wanting to see big touchdowns." No, I want to see the best in the league perform their best against a team who's supposed to be matched with them. And the only thing they were matched in was it was like neither one of these teams slept the night before. Right? It's like they'd all went to Chick-fil-A and loaded up on chicken biscuits or something. Was not good football.
I wonder if it's just a matter of perspective because you are dealing with the Super Bowl, so theoretically you're dealing with the best of the best. And so when you see two teams, if they are
So what perspective am I missing?
if they are equally matched, then it's not like you're seeing the worst team playing the best team, and you're going to see those kind of the glaring differences. Both teams, if they're that equally matched, then you're going to come down to which one makes the most errors or which ones has the most number of defensive plays that were successful or something. I mean, I can't
been
claim
Super Bowls where that's true, and you hear this all the time in the commentators until the Super Bowl. The team that makes the first error might lose the game, right? There's such excellence on the field. The first one to slip is the one that slips behind. We've seen games like that before where they're just so evenly matched. And the first error, this was like who could make the last error. It was just Tom Brady.
Which was that kick?
Name one person beyond the punters that actually looked good in this game. That was the most impressive feat of the game, was the punting. The punting was amazing, and there was plenty of punting.
There was plenty.
And I think we set a Super Bowl record for the world's longest punt. I don't know what was happening on the field, but the punt would land, and it would bounce another 30 yards. I mean, it was like, that was the impressive part. Second to that, I think Edelman had a good first half. He was MIA the second half, guys. Sony Michel didn't carry the ball very much because Tom Brady was too busy, throwing it into the ground. He'd gone into this game, hadn't been sacked the entire playoffs. What happens? He gets sacked because it was a silly display of a game. It just wasn't a good game. It was not Super Bowl caliber. So I say to the New England Patriots fans that picked up your 5th ring, congratulations. You were the prettiest girl at the ugly prom.
Wow.
There you go.
Whoa.
And that's all we have for today.
And the social justice warriors just armed up.
And that's all we have for today, folks. Wow. All right, Bruce. What about the commercials? Were you pleased?
No.
Okay. Why weren't you pleased?
I don't know what I expected. I expected more. There was the creepy talking baby robot that I don't even know what they were advertising, but I got the shivers every time that creature came on screen. That's just my nightmare walking right there. I enjoyed the elevator commercial. They were for the car sales that had Justin Bateman.
Oh yeah, Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman.
That one made me laugh.
Pretty popular right now because of Ozark and Game Night, and
it was
Jason
funny.
Bateman's hilarious. By the way, very very hilarious.
There were a couple of them.
If I had to pick a favorite, I'm going with kind of the trend that the 100 Years of Football with all the legends who are at the banquet and they start chasing the fumble, and Terry Bradshaw reenacts the Franco Harris, the Immaculate Reception, and
that
so
did make me laugh.
Yeah, that was a great commercial. That was probably the best funny commercial. As far as the most touching commercial, the first responder commercials were really, really well done by Verizon, featuring NFL players whose lives were saved by first responders. I just liked it. Like I was feeling that moment where I'm
as my wife would point out, too many feels.
Well, it might have been too many feels, but it was real. Even though it was for a marketing thing for Verizon, what I'll say is I felt like when you saw the tears and the people who were saved there, I didn't feel that was staged, right? And I think we often aren't reminded.
I'm not saying it was fake or staged. I'm just saying it was too much emotion.
Well, I think we're often just not reminded of the fact that people wake up every day and they do this thing. And so for people to step up and say, hi, I'm Judy. I was on duty that night, and I resuscitated you or whatever. It was kind of like this perfect, we watch movies where everything's serendipitous, right? Bingo. Adam uses a big word. Serendipitous, where people come together at the right moment for the right purpose kind of stuff. Yeah. And it felt like that.
All the stars aligned for that.
Yeah, it felt like that. It felt like this serendipitous moment where people were able to, kind of reconnect on what was important, which is life and people helping people. And that was the most touching. All the other ones, meh.
Oh, yeah.
And I had a lot of friends who were crazy about the Peyton Manning opening of the Super Bowl, and I wasn't a fan of that either.
You know
with
what?
the John Malkovich piece.
I missed that because I was out at the grill getting food off of it. So I was helping pull the wings off the grill. So I missed that. I also missed the, I guess there was an Avengers commercial.
Well, Captain Marvel, they had that piece.
I missed that one too.
I'm very excited about that movie, Captain Marvel.
I'll watch it.
I love her as an actress. And
now, I recognize her, but I can't place her.
I first saw her in United States of Terra, which was a Showtime show about a lady with DID.
Okay.
And she was very good. She played the daughter in that, but she's done things since.
Okay, that might be where I recognize her from.
Yeah, it was a good show. I mean, and she did well. I would say it was a good acted show. I don't think it was written very well.
That's one of those. It's
didn't
been
last
years.
very long.
I watched it and then haven't watched it since. So,
all right, big news tonight.
State of the Union.
Tom Chatfield says on the Patriots and Rams, they were the 19th and 21st ranked defenses in the NFL this year.
See, that's
exactly.
That's kind of sad.
Exactly.
If that's the case,
idiots who say it was a great defensive showcase.
Wait a minute.
Idiots.
If that's the case, then there's some fun comments that probably need to be made about their offenses. If that's
well, they have great offenses. That's what.
But if that's where their defense is ranked, and we had such a low scoring game, then that means.
Oh yeah, they were. That's what I'm saying. The offenses. Okay, so the offense playing the 21st ranked defense did horribly. The offense playing the 19th ranked defense did horribly. It was horrible. It was horrible. A horrible game.
All right, that
moving on.
Case, yeah,
Speaking of horrible, tonight is the State of Union address.
All right, now we go from one monkey show to another one.
We're actually going to have one. So. You know, it was in question there for a little while because of the government shutdown.
You know, we should have a live
But Trump reopened the government so he could make his speech. Because he doesn't have a wall yet.
We should set up and live stream it. Like have a thing and live stream.
Isn't like everyone else in America doing that?
Probably.
Okay, every other media outlet.
But
is there a void we're trying to fill?
Yes, but this is the man up void.
So there is a void we're trying to fill.
If we can snark.
Only if we could you want a Mystery Science Theater all over the State of the Union?
If we can snark, then I'm off. I will be here for that.
I believe in freedom of speech, Bruce, but I also believe in, the discipline of being, appropriate.
Hey, who said it was going to be inappropriate comments?
I don't know. It might be Mystery Science Theater.
It really could devolve into that, but we don't know. You don't know until you do it.
Yeah, we'll see. So I don't know what to expect at the State of the Union tonight. They are kind of releasing elements. Trump says it's going to be a unifying speech. No one brings people together better than I bring people together. So he says that's what's going to happen tonight. We will see.
Is somebody else giving the speech?
The rebuttal's coming from Stacey Abrams, who just lost the governor's race in Georgia.
No. I mean, is somebody other than Trump giving the State of the Union?
No.
Then it's not going to be a unifying speech.
Well, he says it's going to be unified.
Well, he says a lot of things.
I'll tell you, he's not going to do it. But I think the smartest move would be if he just didn't mention the wall. Like, for real.
You think that's going to happen?
It's not going to happen. He's absolutely going to mention the wall.
We should start taking...
I'm going to tell you why.
What are the Vegas odds makers saying on that one?
Of whether he's going to take the wall, mention the wall? Well, that's not an odds thing. They're going to release the speech. They've already said they're probably going to talk about the wall. But he's not going to do it. But the smartest thing, and I'm going to get Creasy's 2 cents on this, I believe Thursday. Creasy's in on Thursday. And see if he liked it. But I think a powerful approach to the State of the Union would be if he shocked everyone, which he often does, right? If he did not mention the wall, but in turn, he actually just talked about all the good things that he's done. Like what's happening with our economic boom, getting China to the negotiation table. If he just talked about all of the accomplishments he's had, not the things he's yet to do. Like if he didn't bring up ACA, which he failed on. He didn't bring up the wall, which he failed on. He doesn't bring up Russia, which he failed on. The treaties are falling apart.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's getting worse.
I don't understand why you would use the State of the Union as an opportunity to showcase your failures.
Now,
and
hold on.
Whether you like it or not, guys, Trump has failed on the wall.
With the Russia thing, is that really his failure? Because they weren't abiding by the treaties anyway. We were. It's kind of like pulling us out of the Paris Climate Accords. We weren't a part of it, but we also did the most to clean up in spite of not being a part of it. And the people who were a part of it that said they were going to do stuff didn't.
Well,
so it's the same thing. Russia isn't doing their part of the treaty, so now we're abiding by a treaty that they are not.
I'm talking about perceived failures. Okay. I don't think you can legitimately say, like I said, he's failed on the wall. It's not because he hasn't been willing to build a wall, but he's failed in getting the appropriate people to the table to build a wall.
As we pointed out last week, he chose when to press for it and when he didn't press for it when he had the chance and when he could have got it done. And now he's pressing for it and is creating this kind of
but
perception.
To answer your question about the treaties, is it a failure? It depends on how you look at it. What people are deeming as a failure is most people think we should have these treaties. So success would be maintaining.
I'm not saying we shouldn't have the treaties, but if the treaties aren't going to be enforced.
But listen, I'm answering your question. Though.
All right, go ahead.
You said, is it a failure? It's a failure that you haven't been able to make those people abide by the treaties. It's running away with taking your ball and going home is absolutely a failure.
Then how would they be? How would we go about making them abide by the treaty?
I don't know. I'm not an expert in diplomacy on treaties.
That's the point. If
and nuclear arms.
If they're not going to abide by it,
what do you think, Bruce? What should we be doing?
It needs to be renegotiated.
Okay.
So go in. So pull out of what's there and say, all right, let's go. If this isn't acceptable to you, if you're not going to do this, then we need to come up with.
Which he hasn't done yet. So I don't think it should be in the State of the Union.
But that's pulling out of the existing treaties would be a part of that process. It's kind of like I said last week that the first part of change is going to be uncomfortable and painful in the short run, but in the long run, the change is for something positive and for better. And it's that same kind of thing. We may have to, in the short run, pull out of these treaties in order to get to a place where we can have an effective relationship with China or Russia or whoever we happen to be pulling out of these treaties with.
I still think you don't mention it in the State of the Union.
Yeah, it probably should be in the State of the Union.
I don't think you can mark it off in the success column, right? I think that's what you're really looking for. So that would be what I think would be a great strategic approach to the State of the Union would be come in, don't talk about all the things.
But wouldn't that also be part of the State of the Union? I mean, this speech is supposed to be, this is where we are as a nation right now. Good or bad, this is where we are. And so if that's bad...
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. I mean, what he's doing is fair. It's not...
Now, I haven't seen the speech. I didn't realize it had already been released.
I don't think they've released all of it. They've just talked about elements of it. They've talked about themes in the speech.
But the speech hasn't been released yet.
The speech hadn't been released. But, I'm not saying that bringing up the wall and all of these things isn't part of what makes for a good State of the Union speech. But I'm just saying it would shock people if he just came in and for an hour delivered a laundry list of all the success he has generated.
I already don't like the shock value that he places on stuff and things. Don't shock. Just give me straight up. Basically, what I want the news to give me. Just give me the facts. Give me what's going on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What he's doing good is not carried in the news as much, and you've got a primetime spot, uninterrupted theoretically, of time to deliver your message, and this would be my message. I know you don't like me, and I know we disagree about a bunch of crap, but you know what we have done? Boom, 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 boom. When I got here, this was the state of our economy. This is where we're at right now. We've got a labor shortage in some areas of the country. I mean, because the economy's... But when he starts going down that route, I told you I was going to give you conservative justices. We've got conservative justices, right? If he goes down that list, he's good at bragging on himself. So I don't think it's against his nature to pull something like that out of the hat. So I'm just saying, do what you're good at. Brag on yourself for an hour.
Play your strengths.
Yeah, brag on yourself for an hour. But brag on the things you actually did. Don't brag on don't brag on things you make.
If your slogan is "Make America Great Again," show how you're actually doing it.
Don't use alternafacts to brag on yourself. Just brag on what you did, because you've done some things well. Most Americans agree you've done some things well. Not all Americans, but most of them.
I think most people, most reasonable people, will recognize he's had some things he's done well and some things that he really needs to work on. Just like any other president, there's going to be some things.
Look at you coming in dropping like super insightful knowledge. You know what? He does some good things. He does some bad things. Bruce Selvage, 2019. It's quote, trademark.
Looking into the future.
It's called
he had good
it's a
times,
truism,
he had bad
Bruce.
times.
You're the guy that's like, wherever you go, there you are. Bruce Selvage, 2019. Yeah, you just this platitudinal truism.
Don't worry about where you're going. Pay attention to how you get there.
Yeah. Bruce, what should I do?
Selvage,
My marriage is falling apart. Well, don't let it. Bruce Selvage, 2019. That's counseling with Bruce Selvage right there.
Give it up.
Give it up. It was a matter of time. Bruce Selvage.
I can't believe you didn't see this coming.
You deserved every bit of that when you were like,
she,
he does some good things, he does some bad things. That's your president, Bruce Selvage.
It's like that. I did see a commercial recently. It was something about, I don't remember exactly what they were advertising, but this lady was complaining about her boyfriend not paying attention and like she's moving out. And then he takes this VR rig off. He's sitting there playing some kind of video games, takes this VR rig off and the house is empty. It was that kind of thing. If you didn't see it coming, you might want to take the VR rig off.
So, listen, the State of the Union, we'll see what delivers tonight. I'm interested. I'm actually going to watch the Stacey Abrams rebuttal.
I usually watch the rebuttal.
Whether it's her or Beto O'Rourke, why? Explain to me, and we've got a lot of our liberal friends who watch the show here. Hey guys, do me a favor. Explain to me why you keep going to losers to champion your message.
You look good on camera.
Yeah, I mean, the GOP didn't. I'll tell you that. It's like when you lost the primary, whether you were Marco Rubio or Ted Cruz, nobody started looking to you for a message. I can't think of one candidate. The closest that I can come to on the GOP side would be like a Rick Santorum, who loses his Senate race in Pennsylvania and then turn around and runs for president. But what I'll say is, and he wasn't even close. Right? Okay? So no one started going, Rick Santorum, let's have you deliver the rebuttal on this State of the Union address. Why? Stacey Abrams, she lost.
Yeah, but they're still putting hope in them for the future.
Well, I think it's this. I think all of the people that they wanted to speak have already declared for the presidential run, and they weren't going to give anyone a leg up. So they weren't going to have Cory Booker do it. They weren't going to have Kamala Harris do it.
He's
They weren't
going to win.
The primary? He very well could, my friend. You were the Obama will never be our president. You were that guy.
I was not that guy.
You were not that guy?
No.
But you don't think
that
Cory Booker can pull out that race?
He might pull out the nomination, but if he does, they'll lose the presidency.
Will they? I remember my liberal friends say Trump might win the nomination, but then he'll lose the. You don't know. Listen, everything's a cluster right now.
Yeah, I don't believe for a second that Cory Booker would be able to give Donald Trump a run for his.
I think it would be very entertaining.
Yes, but I
think you're going to have some drama in that Democratic primary. But listen, as long as you're handing losers the microphone to deliver your message, I know you like Beto O'Rourke, and he's got a great dentist. But is it Beto or Beto? Did I get it right, wrong? Somebody tell me, did I get it right or wrong? So Stacey Abrams will deliver the rebuttal. We'll see what goes down with that.
So how did they flip a coin on that? Was it Beto or Stacey? And they're like, heads. Stacey, you're on.
Maybe it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's like when you were losing a battle. You're losing a battle, and you're going to lose this battle, but you just want to stick it to them one more time. So you take that one guy that's not really essential to your army before you retreat, and you send him on a suicide mission to go, stab the other general or something.
Maybe throw this rock at him.
Maybe this is much more strategic from the left than I'm giving it credit for. I mean, that could be it, right?
Maybe.
Listen here, stooge.
All right.
I know we're fixing to retreat.
We can afford to lose both of you.
They say you live to fight another
Eeny,
day.
meeny, miny, moe.
But the boys in the trenches say your gas has been entirely too intolerable. So what I want you to do is I want you to take this here slapjack.
Need to go eat some of God's chicken.
I want you to sneak across enemy lines, and I want you to lay one on the general. We appreciate your service, son. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I play these things out in my mind because unlike Rob Alderman, who's floating above America, I am not. And I'm on the verge of doing the exact opposite, which is burying myself in the sand and just peeking out on occasion. You know, prairie dogs have it going on. They can kind of be underground and come out when the sun's shining, you know, and look around. You ever seen the video? Alan!
Yeah.
Alan!
Alan!
Steve!
Alan!
People think we're crazy right now. Just go look at it, guys.
Yeah.
Just go watch that video.
I can see that meerkat standing.
That meerkat. Alan!
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 Hey, Alan!
Oh.
Steve!
Oh. We have got derailed. Okay.
Well, we're not derailed. We're absolutely avoiding the next topic, the final topic on today's show, which has consumed the media over the weekend. That final topic is none other than what, Bruce?
Blackface.
You were looking. It's like you were waiting.
I was, man.
That.
I don't like to shy away from topics.
Is that true? It's not true at all.
What topic do I shy away from?
What topic do you ever shy toward?
Shy toward?
You're Shia LaBeouf.
I am. Just do it! Do it!
Okay, so tell me.
Is that gonna work? Can I get away with that?
Maybe. So tell me why we should care about what's going on in Virginia.
In Virginia or with this,
in Virginia?
Yeah, there's a lot of going on.
You said
all right,
you
all
used
right.
the phrase
smoke and
screen.
mirrors.
Okay, this is where we're going.
All
you
right.
said smoke screen. So
well, smoke and mirrors, same difference. Okay, what's going on with this governor? Unless you're conservative, the left doesn't go after something 30 years old. That just hasn't been their track record. Now, this comes out on the heels of him going on an interview defending the Virginia legislation for late-term abortion, saying that if the child happens to be born viable, we'll make it comfortable while we go have a discussion with the mother about the options of termination. And so he in an interview he says this, and then all of a sudden 3 or 4 days later, after the media firestorm, the conservative media firestorm at least that lands on this, all of a sudden now they're saying, oh well, you know, he dressed in blackface 30 years ago. And he apologizes for it, but then he comes out a day or two later and says, oh wait, that wasn't me in that picture, but I'm sorry anyway. That is a distraction from the fact that he actually voiced the Democratic platform's position that infanticide is acceptable.
Is that all you got?
Well, that's what he did.
So you say it's a smokescreen.
I think it's a smokescreen.
Because he came out on the abortion piece.
He pushed it too far too fast. And they had to backpedal, and they had to cover up the fact that, because you even pointed it out on your site that that's where they're headed whenever you looked them up.
Yeah, I mean that's the case.
And
but,
so you have this comes out. He pushes in the media.
Who are you blaming? That's what I'm getting at. You're saying the conservatives are doing this because he came out because of infanticide?
No. I think that his own people are behind the release of this information.
Oh, why is that? Because they don't want infanticide.
Because the left, the Democratic Party, that's their platform, but they also know for a fact that the majority of Americans are going to have an issue with that right now. And so what they keep moving the line. It started off with, you know, just have it available and have a safe option available. But then they kept moving the line until now the states are passing where you can he was defending that up until the baby is dilated and exiting the womb, him and the woman who sponsored the legislation in Virginia.
Okay.
The baby can be in the process of being born and still be aborted.
All
so
right.
long as the doctor or somebody can sign off saying that this woman's going to have, you know, postpartum depression or have some kind of mental health crisis, And as long as they can come up with something, they can justify the murder of that child as it's being born.
But you think that the Democrats are doing this to him?
I think they're sacrificing him because he put that out there too fast. That their actual end goal is infanticide.
Oh, so you think that they do want it? And that he's messed up the plan.
He messed up the plan. He pushed too far too fast.
Conspiracy cam. Where is it? Conspiracy cam.
Which one's the conspiracy cam?
I don't know. We need a conspiracy cam.
Just point to whichever one I need to look at.
All right. So you're saying that Ralph Northam was at the secret meeting of Kill Babies.
No, I don't think it's a secret
they
meeting.
Said,
it's on their website.
So they had like their board up here with the pictures and the lines, and they said, ultimately, we're going to Glenn Beck everything all the way over here.
I don't know that they had all that.
No. And then Ralph goes, let's do it. But you know what? I'm going to speed this thing up.
No, I don't think
I'm going to go out and pass this in Virginia.
I think he was in it. That it got passed. No, that legislation was passed. And he got on an interview and stupidly said what the actual website says their position is.
Okay.
And they know that in a public interview, and if you say something outright like that, there's going to be blowback. And so because I think what it was he was riding high on the victory.
Okay.
And he opened his mouth, said too much, and the powers that be that are actually in charge of making the decision of what they are or aren't allowed to say and on behalf of the Democratic Party, said too far, too fast. We got to cut you loose because it's going to blow back on us, and that's where that is. So I don't think it's like there's some kind of.
For those of y'all who aren't familiar with the story, 2 years ago, a man by the name of Ralph Northam was elected governor in Virginia. He has 2 years left in his term. They elect every 4 years a different governor. They allegedly found a yearbook photo with him or someone in blackface standing next to someone in a KKK outfit under a page that's not just got his name on it. It's supposed to be like his page. Like it says Ralph Northam at the top, and it's got a bunch of pictures of him, and that picture is on there.
And it's not implying that he was the photographer either. It's implying
and so they're like, are you the one in blackface, or are you the KKK guy? We can't tell.
Either way.
And he's like, well, no, that picture was misplaced. I'm neither one of them.
No. Originally, he said, you know what? That was in poor taste. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. And it was 2 days later that he came out and said, wait a minute. Upon looking at that picture, I wasn't in that picture.
He was like, no.
I actually dressed up like Michael Jackson for a Halloween party and put blackface on.
He says, yeah, that was, oh, no, I wasn't in blackface then. That wasn't the time I was in blackface. I was in blackface at this time when we didn't get a picture. And that's what I thought you were talking about. Wasn't this racist moment? It was this racist moment over here.
Well, hold on. The second time, though, I don't, like, saying that first one was racist, but the second one, he was actually, as part, the impression I got from what he said was that there was a costume, like he was part of a group costume, and he was Michael Jackson, and they dressed him up like Black Michael Jackson.
Okay. Which all you had to do is be white Michael Jackson. But I guess if this was really a long time ago, there wasn't white Michael Jackson yet.
Yeah, depending on what it was. So
in Governor Northam's defense, he didn't have the choice like my generation had, where I could just dress up as Michael. And they'd be like, oh, you're the after bleaching skin Michael. You're in whiteface.
But, I mean, this is ridiculous anyway, going 30 years back for something like this. I mean, that's asinine. How many people went throughout their entire childhood and college years and never did anything stupid?
Now listen, I'm going to give you that.
Expecting him to go back for 30 years and apologize for something he did 30-something years ago, when at the time dressing up in blackface wasn't even as big of an issue as it is now. It was still an issue, but it wasn't nearly as big as it is now.
I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that. I think we're in a culture now that does not allow people to change, or be stupid. And there's a sensitivity. Lord knows, because I have this show, most of y'all know the skeletons in my closet, because they're not in a closet. They're out like, hey, it's Halloween. But
they're hanging on the wall over here.
We're not a very forgiving culture right now. I'll give you that. Not a very forgiving culture at all. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to elect people who, even if they've made mistakes, we feel sincere about the mistakes that they've made and them being that they've changed, I guess. So I get that. We used to be that. We used to be, I've learned and I've evolved. If we were holding people to a standard of their old decisions and thoughts, we'd have never elected Reagan as president because he was a Democrat. We'd have never elected, you never would have embraced Barack Obama or Bill Clinton because they did do drugs when they were younger. There's this idea that as we grow older, we mature. The thing is with the racial issue, is it's such a sensitive topic right now that there's a zero tolerance. There's a zero tolerance for racism. There's a zero tolerance for sexism right now. To the tune that the New York Times has now released an article calling Mary Poppins racist because the chimney sweeps were in blackface. They weren't in blackface. They had soot on their face from being chimney sweeps. But this New York Times article now talks about it being a racist.
I missed that one.
Mary Poppins was racist because we had chimney sweeps and they had soot on their face.
People got dirty doing their jobs. You know what? You are not allowed to work. Who gave them permission to be working?
Here's what I'll say about the history of blackface. Somebody will get bingo. Adam over explains things. But I think we lose sight of why it's so sensitive, because the history of blackface in drama was this: in white people dressing up as black people and behaving buffoonish. It wasn't so much that someone looked in blackface, it was because it was always associated with this degradation of black people as unintelligent, buffoony, primal, can't control their urges. If we think back to Birth of a Nation, some of these films where it portrayed white men in blackface trying to rape white women, it created fear-mongering.
Well,
so
stereotypes and
the history,
horrible ones at that.
So for all my wonderful conservative white friends who go, but Eddie Murphy and Kevin Hart get up there and they crack on white people and that there's racial comedy. Yeah, there's some similarities there, but the cultural history of blackface was truly to destroy and minimize and oppress a sector of society. I don't get that from Kevin Hart.
No.
I think Kevin Hart's just trying to make a buck. Well, I don't think he's like, we need to keep black people out of our schools.
And
white people out of our schools.
Kevin Hart and Eddie Murphy in their comedy are trying to shine a light on something that for culture, black culture, is an issue. The way that they have, the white culture has treated them over the course of the decades has not been the best track record. But blackface wasn't shining a light on something that needed to be addressed. That was intentionally trying to degrade somebody. So
it's not a good spot, guys.
That's totally different. It's not even apples and apples.
I think there was never a moment in which the black community consented to that as, well, that's funny. Whether you like it or not, white culture has consented for black comedians to make fun of white people. Whether it's white men's penis size or white girls' ditziness or whatever, you laugh at it. You think it's funny. And therefore, when we laugh, we give permission in a lot of contexts. And that just never was the case with blackface. I'm not saying that you have to like one and dislike the other. I think you can dislike both. I think you can be a person that says, I don't like making fun of other people, period, because of their race or gender or whatever. But what's
happening here
that's fine. If you're one of those people, that's fine.
But what's happening here is they're going back 30-some years on this, man. And I think there's plenty of stuff that this guy has done recently.
Well, it's not just on him. So is it Fairbanks, the lieutenant governor, who's a black man, is in line to take over. It should Northam resign, but now they're coming up today with
some kind of
sexual
harassment.
Like I said, the two untouchables right now are racism and sexism. So you can't get the black guy on racism. What do you get him on? You get him on harassment, and so the history of sexual harassment.
But this is another case where there's unsubstantiated.
I think I just inadvertently agreed with you.
Yeah,
that this is conspiratorial.
Well, I didn't
mean to do that. I apologize to our listeners and viewers. I did not mean to agree with Bruce.
I am not anti-conspiracy. I think that if the shoe fits, then wear it. That's kind of what's going on. I think there is enough to show like this guy, this lieutenant governor. I don't know why they're going after him, but they're also pulling up unsubstantiated claims from an anonymous source somewhere. How is this any different than what happened to Kavanaugh?
Yeah, I'm not. I'll say I'm not a big fan of it. If Ralph Northam did this and had has a history and a pattern of racism, we need to know about it. And I'm obviously not backing.
I don't.
I think it's great for conservatives if this thing happens in Virginia.
I don't.
But I
don't think it's great for anybody.
But
if
it
this
absolutely
happens.
has shifted the debate and left this thing over here, which it didn't pass, by the way. The bill that Virginia put forward to extend late-term abortions didn't pass. So, but it's still there. It's still kind of lingering there. So, Rob often talks about there was a funny, if you watch Chappelle's show, and Dave Chappelle had a segment where he played Black Bush. Did you see this segment? And so Dave Chappelle's on the Chappelle show, and he's like, Mr. Bush, how do you explain the failure in Afghanistan and Iraq? And he's like, we're going to the moon, right? So, and then Rob was joking Donald Trump was like, Mr. Trump, how do you explain this? And he's like, here's a hurricane. This distraction. And it feels like that in Virginia. I don't know if I buy into your theory that the Democrats are maligning one another for the purpose of advancing their liberal agenda more slowly.
Not one of him, but that's the case.
I don't know if I buy into that.
When these, of course, and here's the thing. I watched an interview.
Keep in mind that the site that released this originally and it released the Fairbanks stuff
was a conservative.
Is a conservative site. So
now,
be mindful of that.
There was an interview I saw from 30-some years ago, where they were talking about introduction of abortion laws. And at the time, the arguments were, just make it safe. Women are having these, just make it so that they're available so they'll be safe, and then we'll have limits on them. But then the line kept moving. Mm-hmm. Because the goal from the beginning wasn't just to make it available. The goal from the beginning was infanticide. Was the ultimate end goal was to get to the point where people can choose even after the child has been born. That's where they're headed. But what they've been doing is the frog in boiling water scenario. So now where we're sitting right now, you're saying conspiracy on this, when 30 years ago, the conspiracy was that they wanted to get to the late-term abortions.
No, I don't think that's not their goal.
So
listen, I said that was their goal. I don't think that...
In order for that to happen, there has to be somebody making the decisions on when the line gets moved.
Yeah, I just don't think it's to the point where they're maligning one another to advance that initiative. I agree that that's there. I agree that there's a push for it. It falls
fully within the playbook of Alinsky and what they've been...
Oh, so you saw Alinsky all over stuff right now. Okay, all right.
Why would
Glenn
they change?
Beck still got a following.
Why would they change tactics?
Well,
who?
You're saying they changed tactics.
No, I'm saying the tactics
maligning one another.
No.
I don't think it advances their cause.
They're using the same
I don't
tactics.
think this thing with Ralph Northam is advancing their infanticide cause. I don't think that's it at all. I don't think it's... If that is their intention, it's not working.
I think that what he did shined too much of a light on what their end goal is, and they didn't like that. And they couldn't let it go. They couldn't leave it out there. If they're seen to not do anything, then it
I don't know. I'll ask our viewers and listeners, Facebook.com/manuptalk. Also, Ocoee Broadcast Network is now on YouTube, archiving the Man Up episodes, so make sure you go to YouTube, look for Ocoee Broadcast Network. There'll be some other shows archived on there as well. We had to create a better, more accessible archive than just Facebook. So we're live on Facebook. We're archived on YouTube now under Ocoee Broadcasting Network, who's now our producers for the show. And then you can continue to catch the show on Talk 101.3 The Buzz, WTMB Television right here in Cleveland, Tennessee. But you got to go to Facebook.com.
Signing up, Ocoee Broadcast right now.
Yeah, Facebook.com/manuptalk. if you want to comment on the show. So we need you to comment. Do you think Bruce's conspiracy theory about infanticide is what's led to the Northam thing? And it's something we need to watch. What I'll say on the blackface issue to kind of wrap up that point is it's clearly a historically sensitive thing. And for those of you who did it years ago when it wasn't so socially taboo and it wasn't so bad to be racist or sexist if you were trying to be humorous, best you get in front of it now. And if it comes out that you did do it, you need to say clearly kind of what Ralph Northam did. It was in poor taste.
Or if you did anything at all.
I shouldn't have done it.
If you farted on the wrong person 30 years ago.
I was a stupid kid, you know. Now, the Fairbanks stuff, we'll have to watch and see just exactly how that shakes out here in the next few days with these sexual assault allegations. So they're looking 3 deep to see who might take over as governor. They're now to the Attorney General, who's already announced he's running for governor in 2020. So he could be orchestrating this. Oh. Here, I'll propose a conspiracy. Conspiracy cam. He could be orchestrating this so he could be governor for 6 years instead of 4. Dun, 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 dun.
Couldn't he just be reelected?
Ask yourself who has the most to gain.
Couldn't he just be reelected in 4 years anyway?
No, not in Virginia. It's 1 4-year term.
Oh, really?
That you can be elected for. But if he was appointed for 2 years and he could run for 4 years, he'd be 6 years, 6-year governor. Who has the most to gain from both of these men being taken down?
Follow the money.
That's the alderman approach. Maybe Rob had a business meeting today. We ragged him about not being on the show and wanting to avoid conversations about blackface, but we're going to ask him again tomorrow. Clearly going to ask him again tomorrow. Again, we've got more prizes coming up this month. Stay tuned. As far as people on the spread, like I said, Bruce won. Yeah, contributors can win. I just can't win. Bruce won. Bruce, your prize is...
Oh, there's a prize?
We let you on the show 2 consecutive times.
Oh, so I get to go tomorrow again?
No, you were here Thursday.
Oh, I was
You're
here Thursday.
Today.
That's right. There you go. I forgot about that.
Again, Akoi Broadcast Network on YouTube is where we're archiving the Man Up shows. Akoi Broadcast Network on YouTube. Stay tuned for the show tomorrow. We're going to have Double A's on tomorrow. Rick's coming on Thursday. So Double A and Rob are on tomorrow. It'll be a very liberal panel. And we'll do the post-hash on the State of the Union address, I suppose.
I think you should live stream reactions to the State of the Union.
I don't know if I'll watch it live.
Oh, I will. And
yeah, I think I'll watch it after the fact.
Actually,
I think I'll watch both after the fact.
It might be one of those situations where, depending on what movie the crew goes to, I might be going to the movies instead.
I don't know what the movie is tonight. I might have to skip tonight. I might have to be that guy. So,
wow.
Special thank you to Dr. BS for BSing all over everything today. Just remember, don't go dressing in blackface.
Which camera are we looking at?
Don't sexually assault people. Don't love the Patriots.
Did we get on that one?
Stop putting your losers up to push your message. Did I surmise today's show? And eat God's chicken. That's all we've got for today. Talk 101.3 The Buzz, WTNB Television. We're out like sauerkraut people.